Hey, what's going on, everybody? Adam Cardinal, Cardinal and Company team. You're going to watch Behind the Listing, Real Estate Untold Stories. All the craziness, the wackiness, some of the scariness that we've seen over the last 13 years. It's going to be crazy. Here we go. Hey, welcome back to Behind the Listing, Real Estate's Untold Stories. All the extreme, all the funny, sometimes it's heartfelt. In this case, we're in episode 3, Agents Beware. So this one is, there's drug use. It's just things that we've seen, alcoholism. We're not making, I want to say this, we're not making fun of it. We're telling the stories of what we've seen. So we know people.
And what to look out for.
Yeah.
Like safety-wise as well.
Yeah, because sometimes I've walked in on things and I've immediately turned around and had to go out. One of them, this was way back in the foreclosure boom, probably like 2011, 2012, where like a third of all listings were foreclosures or short sales. And I went to go show that listing, and I asked for the lockbox code, and the agent responded back with, no lockbox, no key, bring a screw gun and take the plywood off the door.
And you were like, you called me and you're like, this is the address I'm going to. So if you don't hear from me in, 45 minutes, please call the cops.
Yeah, and I showed up, the plywood was already off, the door had been kicked in, the place was trashed, gutted, all the pipes, everything missing. But I didn't go in the building. I had the police come, the police cleared the building. I wasn't gonna go in there. Just to put a price point on it, that house sold for $8,500 in 2012. It was a single family, 3-bed, 1-bath house. That's how bad this was for $8,500. So this is what we're getting into. So, there's agents beware and clients beware. Let's talk about the open house lady.
So we had an open house last year, and anytime they're still living in the property, we always make sure, we keep an eye on the people. We make sure they come with their agents so nobody steals anything. So I'm outside checking people in, and I noticed this woman. She parked her car so far down the street, you couldn't even tell the make of the car.
There was plenty of parking.
Within
20 feet of the house.
She could have totally have just pulled right up and parked right in front of the house.
Way downhill,
in the shade.
At least 10 houses away at the bottom of a steep hill, and walked up.
And we could tell she was under the influence just the way she was walking. She was totally tweaking out, twitching, and just, she had this big empty bag with her. Yeah. So we knew she was.
The bag is over her shoulder.
The bag was totally empty. You could tell the type of purse that it was. It was just a cloth purse, and you could tell there was absolutely nothing in it. Yeah. And
she was getting ready to go shopping.
And
not house shopping, but just shopping.
Checking medicine cabinets and stuff like that. So I'm set up just like this at an open house with my laptop, and she tries to go right by me, and I'm like, no, ma'am, I need to check you in.
Not even.
She was running.
She was like
sprinting.
Olympic speed walking.
Yes. And then Adam always stands in the doorway as he greets people.
As I welcome people in.
And then she was just like, I'm not checking in. And he's like, per the seller, you need to check in. We can't let you in the property. And then she just starts spazzing out, and then, she's running with her bag, jogging back to the car. I think she was afraid we would possibly call the cops or whatever, but that's why we're always aware of people coming to the showings. You can tell the people who have agents in there pre-approved, and you could tell they're serious buyers, and then there's other people that just stumble upon it, and that they're just out to see what's inside. Look, you lose.
Yeah, which is fine if somebody's just, hey, I'm curious about the house, which is
like
great.
A neighbor. Usually you can get a neighbor. Oh, well, can I look and see? That's all normal. But
when somebody comes in,
they park so far away, you could totally tell she was under the influence and that she was up to something. So we did not let her in.
Clearly inebriated.
She was under something.
Clearly, wild. And that's the thing. It's when we're listing our properties and we go over the safety for our clients, it's always about them. It's always about their choice. It's always about the seller. Hey, we're going, with your permission, we're going to check everybody in. We're going to get a name and phone number from everybody. That way, we can follow up if somebody's interested in the house.
And that's
but
what we
also,
tell them too.
If something, God forbid, went missing, like, or we were contact tracing during COVID, we had to take a name and a phone number. And I'm sorry, but per the seller, you cannot enter the property without giving your name and phone number. And she was just...
We could tell she was just out for us, to score something.
Yep. And then another one. Remember the guy who came to the multifamily not too long ago, and he parked down the street. He was just tanked. He was walking sideways. If this is straight and the guy is walking straight, right? He was leaning to one side like he just got off a boat.
Yeah.
Like he was tanked, and I was actually concerned. I'm like, are you okay? Like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Why? And because he's just swaying, and he pulled up in a car, like it was very
uneasy.
Yeah. I mean, something like that. You got to call the authorities and say, hey, this person could be drinking and driving. You don't want somebody to get killed.
I think somebody ended up coming for him, though.
Yes.
Somebody did end up coming in.
Someone not showing up. So another one, you got to look out, especially some of the houses that are maybe foreclosed or short sales, or they're run down. You get into it could be any home in any neighborhood in any town in the United States. It's just sometimes what happens. People fall into this pattern of drug use. One extreme, me and a client, we were going to look at a multifamily and walked in this house, and there were just kind of like flop beds everywhere. And as we went in and around the corner, they had moved the refrigerator out from the wall and made a cavity. Yeah. There was a mattress lying there, and also a guy lying there with a tourniquet on his arm and a needle in his arm, passed out. And
it was at that point you got out.
I said we're not safe here yet. We have to leave. And the people were there. There were more people in there. There was way too many people.
Yeah,
for that
and in no way were they trying to hide it.
No.
I think that was their goal.
Well, I just think that's how they were living.
Well, I think that's how they lived, but I feel like, and they had been trying to sell it for a while, and even the listing agent said some days they don't even let us in, and we've been trying to sell it for a while, and I think people were going in and seeing that and then just totally being turned off by it.
Yeah. So that's the thing too. When I'm out in the field and I'm with my buyer clients and we're going to look at stuff, like I feel like I have a duty for protection. Right. My first real job that I wanted to be an MP and be a detective. So I have that kind of in me, but I'm colorblind, so I can't.
Well,
I can't do those things.
And a lot of the things too that we think of is after the sale. If these are people who are doing these type of things, you don't know who's going to come back to their house one day. It could be someone they might owe money to or something along those lines, and then somebody shows up and, you know what I mean, that those people don't live there anymore.
This one's an extreme one.
I know which one you're going with. I already know this story.
So we walk into this house. Actually, walk up to the house. It was an open house, and the agent meets us at the door. And this guy, just because it was full disclosure, I want to let everybody know, there was an incident here about a year and a half ago. The son murdered the father in the house. That's what he said. And then this guy, slick.
And the next breath.
He went, but everything's great now. The floors have been replaced. Everything's been painted. Everything's been cleaned. Everything, blah, blah. And I'm going, dude, like.
Yep.
And it actually went in a bidding war. Our client wanted it and wanted to bid. He did. He put in.
Let me take over. So yes. So when they came,
he likes this one.
I was in the car. I didn't go into the showing. I was waiting in the car. And when they came out, Adam had explained to me what was said. And my mother instinct kicked in because I was just like, you can't buy this house because if this guy gets out of jail or wherever he is, a mental institution, whatever,
Yep.
what if he comes back home and tries to break in and, he doesn't know the house is sold. So like, I was just like, oh, do you really want to buy this house? And he was just like, oh, well, I'll get Nest cameras and I'll make sure it's secure. And I didn't think there was going to be a bidding war. That was the thought, like, oh, there won't be a bid war.
That's
and
what he
there
thought.
was.
He thought he could get it for a deal because of what happened, but it went.
It went into highest and best.
I've never been so happy.
Relieved
for
that he did not get it.
a client's deal, a client's
to not
offer
get.
to not get accepted.
It's a weird
I was
situation. And that's the thing. You might hear, clearly everybody dies in properties, but to be murdered is another story.
Well, it's beyond, being murdered and the other person. It was in a psychiatric facility,
right? But that's
and was
what I'm
going to
saying,
be getting
yeah.
out in 4 or 5 years. But you have you kind of got a target.
Yes,
on
and
your
that's
back.
what makes me nervous. We always, want to make sure,
And he was a good person.
We did find him a home right afterwards.
Found him something. He loves it. So everything was good. One of my earliest stories when I was doing a lot of rentals in the beginning, I was showing a small one-bedroom apartment in the heart of Providence. I got my clients there. Mostly it was like college kids because it was just small one-bedrooms. And I got an appointment where we're showing this couple. We're going up, and these 3 guys come just walking across the street, completely tanked. And he just happened to see the sign in the window. And he was just like, again, I'm not making fun of any people. This is what he was like. I just want to be able to explain. I want to see the apartment. I want to see the apartment. And so, I'm standing there with my clients. We're opening the door, and he's barging in. And I said, sir, yeah, this is an appointment. It's by appointment only. This isn't an open house. If you could please call the number on the sign, which was my phone number. We'll make an appointment because I knew I can't let this guy in the building. He's tanked. The other 2 people he's with are tanked, and there's going to be a problem. He kept insisting, and I thought it was going to go south. I had my clients. I let them go. I said, go right on up, top floor. That door's open, and I shut the door. He was still trying to push his way in. I shut the door and I stood in front of him, and I said very calmly, because that's the thing. When people get kind of agitated, if you bring yourself down, you just bring yourself down here. You say very calm, and I said, sir, you have to make an appointment to see the apartment. This is going to end in 2 ways right now. 1, you can walk away, and everything's fine. Call later, make an appointment. 2. The cops are going to be here, and you're going to probably leave in an ambulance or the back of a police car. What would you like? And the guy walked away. And, it was one of those, like, I thought he was going to come. I thought he was going to come after me.
We've seen some, in stories they're called like Karens or Kens or, so we've seen some Karens and some Kens in general or under the influence. And it really does, take a toll when you have to deal with them.
Again, we're just telling these stories just to bring light, to bring awareness. We understand people struggle. People struggle with drug abuse, alcohol abuse. There are all kinds of stuff in this world, and we're not making fun of it. We're just telling the real estate stories. We're telling you what goes on. So
it's not always cut and dry.
No, these are the real estate untold stories behind the listings. So this is.
I could never be a police officer. I can't even imagine what they deal with.
All day, every day.
But, because we're representing our clients, whether they're buyers or sellers, we have to put them first, and we want to protect their property or their home or their belongings.
Yeah. If it, number one, that comes down to it, best thing to do, you have a situation like that, you call the police. You let the police handle it.
Which we've done.
And we've had to, and you try to de-escalate.
It's just you have to stay calm.
Yeah.
Because, trust me, there's been times where I wanted to let loose, but
yeah. It's not all
someone won't let me because it's not professional.
No, not at all. No. So not all that glitters is gold in the real estate world, but hey, it's what we do. So hey, well that's episode 3, Agent Beware, of Behind the Listing Real Estate's Untold Stories. One more to go. We got episode 4 coming up over here, the extremes. So these are, you'll see. Check out episode 4. I'll be up soon. Bye bye.